Let's start with myself. Okay. Um, what specifically in regards to like my planning career, my life, like what I'm doing now, or just both in general, mainly. How I found Roblox and clanning was actually a relatively long time ago. I had my original account, which is Elsdragoon at the current moment. Um, I lost that account back in 2012. And I don't necessarily remember anything about it. It wasn't really anything with clanning. I was like 8 or like 9 at the time, or maybe younger. Um, and I just typically played a lot of front page games. I remember one of my favorite ones was some like mining one. It wasn't like Minecraft or anything like that, but it was like a tycoon game. It was pretty enjoyable. I don't remember any. I don't see it on the front page now, so I'm guessing it never really took off past 2012. But then eventually I got back into it once I was around 14, 15. I got back into Roblox and I made this current account, Elsdragoon, and also the other previous names under the account, Frankie, Octavia, and Myth Bear, obviously. I got into clanning in about 2016, which was around the same time that my account was created. It wasn't anything mainstream. My first ever actual clan itself was called the Robloxian Empire. That was relatively fun. That was a good time. And then after that was RAD, the Roblox Administration of Defense, which was allied to CAT, big time clan, the Combat Assault Team, owned by Josh O'Holick. Hashtag boy butter for those who get that reference. But after that, I mainly phased out of it. I wasn't really big into clanning for a long time until about 2019 when I heard about CSP's revival under Moxie, and then I joined CSP through that and got involved with a lot of the elitist mindset that came from that, and that definitely helped me a bit start the foundation of my career. Most recently, that definitely did help a lot. Being taught by NBK, Moxie, Statfire, Nightborn. I'm more than willing to say that they definitely did help me in my early careers of becoming the leader that I am today, 100%. And then after CSP, I mainly bounced around a lot until I mainly hung out with Slimesight, popular clanner these days, and Surge. He's the Supreme General or something like that. I don't know. We haven't necessarily kept in touch. I was around Reign of Chaos for a little bit and Aviatris for some time, but nothing really too personal. I was just in the groups just because I enjoyed the maps. I enjoyed Frontier and some Prime Tech here and there. And then eventually I did get into Myth, as you know. I got into Myth for a good period of time. That was actually my longest lasting clan next to Rad, actually, the Roblox Administration of Defense that I mentioned earlier. Myth was actually my longest serving clan. So yeah, definitely CSP's revival in 2019 founded me, and then Boss in Myth, he definitely carved a better stature into how I should be leading and acting when it comes to pretty much clanning in general. So NBK, Nightborn, Statfire, Moxie, and Boss really gave me a good foundation for the kind of clanner I am today. So I found Myth for a while. I actually knew about them since 2019 when I used to raid them a lot with CSP. I really did always enjoy. I really did. Sorry. I found Myth in 2019 when I used to raid them a lot with CSP. I really did enjoy Nightclub, but the most favorite map of mine was Bunker. Bunker was definitely one of my favorite, most attempted rated maps, because a lot of the time, at the time in 2019 and 2020, um, Myth officers didn't really like anything but nightclub, and that kind of does transpire still to this day. But I do like to see that I see some people with Myth uniforms in my friends list playing things like Reversal Compound and stuff like that. I do like to see. I like that a lot. But yeah, I found it in 2019. I didn't think about joining it until a bit later in 2020 and stuff like that. So, but definitely definitely was a good thing that I joined it when I did. The reason why my username is now Elsdragoon is because I originally wanted it to be Elsdragon, but and that's from a I don't know. It just kind of sounds hard. Sounds like a good name. So, but Elsdragon was already taken. So I just took the UA Dragoons, like the special forces of the Union of Arcadia, the Dragoons, and I just put Elsdragoon on there because it just sounds good, and it's more of a clanning reference if you understand clanning history. So yeah. So when I initially joined Myth, there was a lot of good high comp. There was people like Eon, yeah, Eon Zapnuka Eon Rogue, if you know him by that name. There was Annie Wanza. There was Varax was still in the group, um, and stuff like that. But typically there wasn't a lot of lower officers. There were plenty of high com members, and it was really well. It was a really great close knit community that was really enjoyable. If once you got involved in it, it was really great. It was really enjoyable, mainly because Eon put so much time and effort into forging that community that without Eon, I don't think modern day Myth would have ever been a thing. Eon definitely did a lot of hard work when it came to the community side of it, and he was another when I was in Myth, he was a great inspiration to me, and I'm actually really saddened by the fact, but I'm also very happy for him. I'm sad that he's not with us, but I'm so very happy that now he's doing what he loves. If you don't know, Eon is a firefighter. He's a full-time firefighter, and that's his career choice. And I'm very happy that he's doing what he loves, and he's also providing for his local community. And that is honestly something that I wish every single person in the world could do. But it really takes a selfless character such as himself in order to actually do that. So I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm happy that he's where he's at. But back to Myth mainly. He had a really big sense on that, and when he left and I had to step into his shoes, it was definitely a really big role that I had to fulfill. And I like to think personally that I did fulfill it. However, there are obviously some opponents to that notion, as per with most of my ideas and reasoning and execution of ideas within Myth. I wasn't disappointed at all in the state of Myth at its time when I first joined. Obviously, there was a lack of discipline when it came to cadre and skill. However, that was relatively understandable considering who was running it at the time. No one. So there wasn't really too much to go there. At the core of it, Myth Reserve Forces is a super clan. Bottom line. So when there are ideas of super clan in the group, you can assume that skill is not going to be a very high valued thing in general. But as I learned, and as I hope everyone in Myth will learn about our values and our traditions and how long and how deep they go back in not just clanning history, but Roblox history itself, I really hope that everyone enjoys and appreciates the knowledge that Boss can give all of us. Um, need to be in life, need to be in clanning, whatever it may be, take it all to heart and truly attempt to understand what he's telling you, because a lot of things that he's told me, um, a they're true, but b they definitely always come back around, and it makes sense as you mature and as you grow as not just your character, but also um in life. You know what I mean? But life and character are basically the same thing. But you can take that how you will. Um, yeah, pretty much. I wasn't disappointed in it at all, and it was a really great time when I first joined. So, how did I become cadre chief, and what did I do before I was? And was I in any other departments? So I became cadre chief via grandfathering, which, if you don't know what that terminology means, it basically means I just kind of got put into that position because there was no one else in front of me. So because there was no cadre chief, because there was no cadre cadilo, because there was no cadre highcom, because I was just getting so many wins in defenses mainly, um, and scrimmages and a few raids here and there with Evil Pizza Steve, I became cadre chief relatively quick. I didn't do anything before cadre chief. No, that's not true. I was the marshal for the liaison department, and that's where I put a lot of work in. I don't believe the liaison department is still around. If it is, it's only used by one guy, and it doesn't do anything. But effectively, the liaison department was supposed to be internal and external relations to the Myth Reserve forces. So, for example, our allies like Phoenix Imperial, we would be the direct contact for any events compared to just going to an individual officer. So that way, the transition of okay, PEI wants to do a joint event, they come to a liaison. Liaison gets a myth officer who's available, and then the liaison puts the PI officer and the myth officer together. That was like alliance things. External wise, we would be the middleman if it came to like a warfare event that somebody was cheating. We would investigate it, not like some random officer. It would be our department, basically as a sort of justice department, a pseudo justice department. That liaison department was led by Eon at the time. However, now I don't believe it's led by anyone or even used at all, which is very disappointing because it was really good for internal relations, for founding our community and keeping our community intact, and also keeping external relations very well. However, since Eon left, it hasn't really been taken care of at all. That was pretty much the only other department I was in than cadre. Other than Myth Overwatch, which is something completely different and we won't be getting into. After I became cadre chief, what was the reason I banned people? So the primary reason that people were removed from cadre came from a few things. Number one is playing against Myth in any way, shape, or form. Need to be raiding, need to be defending, need to be scrimming. That was immediate grounds for removal. I did make a statement about that in a meeting in both CIC and cadre. So people did it out of that. One of the second primary reasons was a cadre blacklist. For example, as you know, the Republic of Arius and Russian army were cadre blacklisted purely for the sake that we were consistently playing against them, and cadres needed to make a choice whether or not they were going to align with us or whether or not they were going to align with the enemy. It was basically a line in the sand, and if people wanted to cross it by either playing against us or staying in their group, then they would be removed. Um, Aside from those two reasons, there wasn't really any other reason. Unless you were cheating, then you were removed. Or if you were breaking any of the rules when it came to standards in cadre, like using grammar, staying in uniform, and all the other niche rules that we have. Um, Primarily, those were the only reasons you were removed. Was one of the two. Um, is it true that I banned Boss one day on Nightclub on an alt? I don't recall that story happening, but that would be pretty funny if I did actually do it. I won't lie. Who do I think is the most useless officer or high common example? Well, who do I think is the most useless officer or high common in Myth? Really nobody. And there's a reason for that. Nobody can be useless because everybody plays a part in some time. There are times where the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference, or where the wrong man in the right place can make all the difference. You know what I mean? So nobody is innately useless. It merely comes down to timing. If the if if timing isn't right, then you won't have the capabilities or possibility to help the team at that time. And that's primarily what you want in a clan, is for everyone to have their own little um niche ability, and for each person to do to the best of their ability. And that's how a team in real life works as well. If a team is comprised of everybody who can do the same thing, it's not going to work very well. You want a team that is very well rounded and capable of doing multiple things at different times with each other. And that's definitely what Myth was for a long time. But once, you know, once if somebody has to take on so many responsibilities from somebody else and they don't have the ability to do those responsibilities, then it's not going to work out well in the long run at all. So nobody is innately useless. It just comes down to timing and ability of the individual. Is there anyone I don't like particularly? No. Yes and no. They're on a personal level, no. I don't dislike anyone. I think everybody just trying to save their own ass and face. So I completely understand when people say, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like Elsdragoon, for example." You know, like, "Oh, I don't like him. I never liked how he played the game. I never liked how he led. I never liked what he did for the group." That's fine. I get it. You're just trying to, like, I completely understand. Everyone is trying to save their own ass, because if you say you like me, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get backlash out of it. So I understand why people say they don't like me. But on a personal level, like one-on-one, if clanning wasn't a thing, like if clanning just wasn't an aspect whatsoever, I think everyone in the community is a real fine gentleman. But when it comes to policy and how they handle things, obviously that's going to be different, and that's going to change, um, my professional opinion about you. But my personal opinion about people, I think everyone's great. I think Mag, Lurching, Boss, Buxidus, I think they're funny people. I just don't like how they professionally handle things. But I think they're upstanding gentlemen. I think they're fine people to hang out with. I would hang out with them, but I wouldn't clan with them. I would not clan with them whatsoever. Why did I ban Vuxidus? So there's a few things. Primarily was the fact of, as I previously mentioned, how he professionally handled things. Professionally, he wasn't very he wasn't very elitist. He didn't really have the ideas of myth in mind, and he didn't primarily attempt to execute his duties to the best of his ability, in my opinion. Now, obviously, in other people's eyes, that's going to change. Um, when it comes to clanning, you got to have the idea of trying your best to win. You can't just say, "Oh, whatever, we're not going to win this. We're not even going to try." You got to have the idea of coming to it, taking the fight, and at least attempting to win if the teams are balanced. Now, if the teams aren't balanced, you ask them to balance or something like that, and they don't do anything, then you kind of can't. Then you kind of can't do anything. You know what I mean? Then you're better off just leaving, finding another target, or just telling them to fuck right off. But each leader takes that, does things differently. I get it, but it's really just a thing of he wasn't fitting in with where Myth was going to go, in my opinion. So why keep him around? Improve or be removed. What we live by. No, I didn't. Sorry. I say that a lot as a meme, because it's funny. Say, oh, I dropped out of high school for Roblox. But no, I have a very successful career now since I finished high school, and that's a big part of why I'm not on as much. And I also am in a happy relationship as well. So I really don't have a lot of time for the platform, but when I do, I mainly just spend it outside of clanning. Or if it is clanning, it's either Sora or 44th, and it's just one event mainly. Do I have a girlfriend, boyfriend? Am I gay? I have a very lovely, lovely girlfriend. I do not know if I am a homosexual or a bisexual, but I'm open. I'm open. I'm open to new pastures. Hold on, I gotta go grab something out of the. Am I gay for balls? Of course I am. I gotta grab something out of the car real quick. I'll be right back. But yes, I am. 100% for balls. Who is my favorite cadre member truly? 100%, I have to say it's really split because all of you were very capable when it comes to your abilities. Cole was a very decent AR. You had Golub, Golub and Ash, who were very good recons. You had yourself, who was a pretty good ST, I would say. I think you were a relatively good ST, in my opinion. There was Katza, who was also another very good AR. There was Jake, who was a very good AR. There's Octane, who I invited. By the way, Octane, I love him. He's not my favorite, but he is a hoot. He is always a good time. So I'm really happy that he enjoyed Cadre when I was leading it, and now he's enjoying Cadre now when I'm not in it, and I really like that. But if I had to pick one out of every single Cadre member ever, like, are we talking about under like my leadership or just ever? Because if we're talking ever, it's going to be Breakages, because rest in peace Breakages. But if it has to be under my era, I would have to go with Golem. I would have to say Golem, because recons we didn't really have after Virus, and when Golem kind of popped out like out of nowhere, he was a really good help. That's getting cut in the video. There's no RIP Breakages. It's disappointing. Why do I think Myth Forces is getting that much recognition? Primarily because There's nobody to do anything with it. The whole reason Myth Forces came around is because of me wanting to bring back a majority of the old ways of Myth, while still being able to do the super clan aspect, but have them as two separate entities under the same administration. Which sounds weird, but that's effectively how it would work on paper. In practice, it would have probably been hell, but who cares? Um, because there's nobody in the clan at all that really cares about the values or tries to enact them or enforce them, nobody's gonna join it because there's no reason to. It doesn't have a cool another uniform. I mean, maybe it has the Mao uniform. I don't know. The guns are all old from like 12 or earlier, like 2012 or earlier, and there's just no reason to do it. Like you're still in Myth, you know. So you just have a higher standard on you. So why join it? You know what I mean? In a clan, in a community, like, and I don't mean just Myth. I mean like overall in the clanning community that doesn't have a really high standard. So what does it matter? That's primarily why. It's because nobody's doing anything with it, and nobody's trying to enforce the values that it's trying to preach. So why be in it? Would I rejoin Myth if I was unbanned? And do I think my ban was just or unjust? I don't think anything will change um, when it comes to my ban. I think that's a permanent one. Um, and I really don't want to come back because there's really nothing for me there. It's just too much work to get rid of the same people who are making the same mistakes that they made before. So what's the point? There's no reason to put effort into it. Um, do I think my removal was just? No, not at all. I don't believe it was just in the slightest, but it happened. So that's it. Um, yes, it has gotten active recently because of the fact that they've brought back individuals like Voxidus and school's also getting out. School is actually out for a lot of people. So of course, yes, it will be getting active. It's getting into summertime for North America. So of course it will be getting active. That's just how it works, and clanning in general is going to get active. So it's not news. So what is my future plan with Sora in my life? So with Sora, I plan on it being a very niche, kind of interconnected community, very similar to how Cadre operated. Um, and I'm hoping that with our niche tech and stuff like that, we can definitely bring a new cutting edge idea when it comes to clanning. I don't want every single clan has either a filter group or they're a super clan or they're just a hype clan filled with cheaters. I get it, I get it. Or like they're allied with like a bigger clan. Like let's take 44th and ROR for example. A majority of ROR, not RORs. The majority of 44th members are just ROR members who just want to play on under the 44th banner. And like I don't like that, man. I don't like that at all. But I'm in it just for I'm here for a good time and a long time. So basically something like that. But I don't like it. I don't like the clan. Um then we have a lot of things happening in Sora. I sent you guys as many screenshots as the developer sent me. Literally every single screenshot that they have sent me, I've posted in the Discord. So don't think that like there's no progress happening. They're just not sending me screenshots. And they're also busy as well. Their school is also getting out, so they have shit to catch up on and stuff like that. But yeah, no, definitely a lot of big things coming when it comes to Sora. With my personal life, it's definitely going to be I'm going to be working hard, so I'm not going to be able to be on as much. But still, I'm gonna show face when I can, and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you for is there any wars or raid challenges? Most definitely there's going to be a war between who and who. I don't know. Well, obviously Sora and who, I don't know. That'll come at a time, but a raid challenge most likely not, because I think if your base needs a raid challenge, it means it's not fun. So why you have to pay people to come play your base? That's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's just my opinion on the matter. Why was Myth a free win when I was a lieutenant in CSP? Because it was. Because CSP was a hype clan at the time, and I was able to get a lot of people and a lot of good elites, and yeah, it was just a free win. I won't disagree. Back in 2019, it was a free win on Nightclub. It was the freest win of my life. Didn't matter what team they had. It was a free win. But that changed, obviously. I don't think he would join Sora, but if he did, it would be cool. But it'd be better off not. Anyways, I'm gonna go. So, thank you for having me. All right.